Okay. So we're doing Mr. Cunin first.
Do we have Westbrook
There's
there?
Keenan Westbrook and light out on the 132,
Okay,
2 lot subdivision.
Tried to
Leighton.
Oh.
Trippy owns it, but he's doing it.
He came in with the construction. He went to store vehicles on a site, Chipotle, whatever it is.
How do you say it?
Trippity.
Trippity?
I think I'm right. It was a couple years ago. He came.
Yeah,
in
Joyce
with-
was here a lot. That was her name.
That one went on for a while. To store like, heavy duty equipment on the site.
what
that
road,
driveway,
what street, I'm sorry?
Across from Joyce.
Oh, yeah.
Across from
Yep.
where?
Joyce.
Oh, Martin Dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's parking trucks and equipment, everything out on the
It
road.
was like a special use permit, but it
Yep,
was
a long
special
one.
use.
On 32.
Mhm. They haven't been out there, how's it look?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But it
Where
sounds
is?
like- I don't know if this is a different property or the same property.
I think it's probably the same, probably built the barn, because he's running his
Yeah.
business out of there.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same parcel. It looks good. I mean, he did a good job. Nice barn. It's clean.
I'm sure the town would have
Yeah,
heard
he
from
was-
a certain somebody if it
He was
was.
parking stuff right out on the road, almost like he
Yes.
was selling it.
Yeah, I don't think he's parking anything.
No,
out
we
there.
told him not to.
When I was out there, there was nothing there, so he's not doing that.
Okay, well,
I mean, he's got a lot of equipment that he
Yeah.
parks down the road, but he's got, like a racing trailer and all of his,
Hmm.
backhoes and dozers and stuff like that, but they're hidden behind the barn.
What's his business?
He's in construction, and then also I guess he does like graphics. He's got 2 businesses,
yeah,
like rack
it was.
your trailer, something like that.
Okay, let's get started with one of them. Which one do you want to start with?
It's,
Greg was gonna jump on, so we can,
oh, wait, there's people in the,
if he's on, if he's in now, then
Check, do you mind if I borrow this real quick?
I don't
Sure.
think he's there yet.
oh, shit, shoot,
Super.
sorry. I didn't mean to swear. Um, Still in weekend mode. I don't know who this is, so.
I don't know who that is. That's not.
Lucian's one of the.
Lucas is already on.
I think, right?
Yeah, Lucas is the marathon.
Well, if Greg's not. He's not there, let's do one of the other ones. then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Back to Cunin. So that's a subdivision. Out on Hickox. Okay, I'm trying to
Oh,
visualize.
this is that large parcel, it's been for sale.
3 lots.
Yeah.
So it is. Oh,
Okay. Splitting up the family, I mean, giving the kids a lot to build on, or,
No,
oh,
No,
just,
I don't think so.
no, it was I think a divorce and he's just selling it off.
oh. Okay,
so you know what the address is on Hickox?
10.
It's right
22.
behind the ARC, is it the ARC home? Or the group home? On the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, of Hickox and. Hold on.
52.
52.
We're recording, right?
Yeah, she did a while ago.
So. It's right here. Okay.
Bliss, okay.
Yep.
North of Bliss. Mhm. On the right side,
It's on the right side.
as you're going out,
heading
going north. Okay.
north.
It's just on the corner of 32.
It's on the corner, it's literally on the corner of 32 and.
Yep.
It's basically that. a little bit there.
Okay.
It's being farmed.
Mhm.
It's leased right now.
Yep.
Now I was checking. out
Yeah.
the Facility, I was like, wait. what?
Yeah, the
I was thinking
facility,
other part of it.
is right.
Yeah, it's right on the
here.
corner.
Yep, so it backs into it.
It's literally just a field.
Uh,
From the corner. I don't know if you can hear me.
We can, sir.
It's
Good
a 5 acre. There's a 5 acre parcel at the corner of Hickox and County Road 32, and then the 30 acres on Hickox going north.
pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Like,
3 acre minimum.
These
Yep,
lots,
it's got 8, 10, 12.
Yeah, they're all-
it's,
No flags.
All
Cadillacs,
proper frontage, everything.
Mhm.
Everything's 8 or more acres.
mhm.
no existing structures on site, right? It's all
Just-
vacant.
It's all,
just
it's all,
farm field.
No wetlands, no streams, no steep slopes, none of those things that we should document. I think it's flat, right?
Oh, it's not flat, but it's not steep slopes.
Yeah,
That's
Kinda,
pretty.
I got you.
it's farmable, so it's
Yeah.
definitely not steep.
Exactly.
How prime is the farmland? Do you know? I mean, I'm sure the ag committee will check that out.
Yeah,
They'll probably be the biggest hurdle.
right, it's currently being farmed.
Hang on.
farming.
3 and
That's in the, is it in the new ag protection area that will be?
yeah,
Uh,
South 520.
I think it is, yeah.
It's farmland.
It's in the
with
farmland
statewide
of statewide
importance,
importance too.
Little section of it, mostly in the green.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Sir, can you tell us how to pronounce your first name so we can be sure to do that correctly at the meeting?
You said, what do you want me to do?
How do we pronounce your name, your first name?
You want to do the legal name, or do you want to do what you want to call me by?
Whatever you prefer.
You need to
So
know
I-
both, so
I
you
like to
wanna-
go by Bus. It's a lot easier.
Buzz?
Yeah,
Buzz?
Bus is my nickname, yeah, has been since I was a kid.
Is it Ludovic?
I'm sorry?
Is it Ludovic? How do you actually say it?
It's Lodewijk. It's a Dutch name.
Oh, it's
in-
Dutch. Okay.
In Dutch, the Y is actually a diphthong called IJ diphthong, but
Right,
Okay.
we don't have that in English.
but, yeah.
My goodness.
Figure- so-
right, well-
Well, it's the other direction from German.
Yeah.
It's related to German one way or the other. It's not German.
Okay, Buzz.
All right,
Gotcha.
great.
Lands type 2
Unlisted subdivision.
subdivision.
Subdivision, yeah.
Wish they would list it, because I don't understand why it's not, but.
All right, so this should go to,
Yeah, It's 3 acres or 3 lots, not 4. Now that we have that.
right,
Mhm.
ECB, I think so.
Yep. I would say so.
And the ag board. It's probably within 500 feet of 32, right?
Zoom in there,
Close.
I think we have tie distance on it, if you zoom in and go, looks like there's some south.
Let me see. Oh, we might have made it. Oh, wait, we're good. Five, yeah. All right, so no county planning board. Yes. Yeah. Okay,
And public hearing.
Yes.
yes.
You guys are hilarious.
We should send it to Cheshire. Or is that city? Are we on the Cheshire?
Yeah, I think that's
Cheshire Fire,
Oh, yeah, that's. just
Yeah.
right.
Jim Fletcher,
I would send it to him just as an
Yeah.
FYI.
Yeah.
He's not gonna comment on it. 'cause
but
it's
just
so
so he
quick list.
knows, they're gonna
If
need,
there's some related
driveways.
issue, exactly.
yeah. Okay, so ECB, Jim Fletcher, Ag Board, Chris Brown, am I missing? Oh, MRB. So,
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you're good. I don't think
You
you
think
need,
No,
it's minor
I don't-
enough?
I don't-
Okay,
I think we can handle it.
if
All right.
there's no improvements being proposed,
no, all right, great, perfect.
August 23rd.
it's gotta be the second one, right? Because it's a
Yeah.
public hearing.
August 23rd.
Oh, I hate that word. We're talking about August.
Right.
It's not the end of August, it's a whole week after that.
That means the next deadline is in September.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Are we all done?
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we'll see you
Buzz.
in August.
Okay, thank you.
August 23rd.
All right, I hope your audio is better then.
Oh, sorry.
It's
Is
not
it
the
not?
Are
best.
they-
I can, when you directed me straight at me, it was pretty good, but other than that, it was a little
Your mic,
difficult
that
to
mic's-
understand. All right, thank you.
Oh my God, John. Thank you. Have a good day.
Good.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So long.
Well, hang on, let's make sure they're good. Is there anybody on there that?
Guess we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, check that first. So Ludovic
Lucas. Are you on there?
is muted.
I feel like that.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, how are we sounding to you?
It's fine.
Okay.
I'll
Could be his
follow
end.
up to
Could have been his
Cory.
end.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
All right, shall we move on to Trippity?
Trippity.
What's the CPN number for this one?
53.
Thank you.
Uh,
Lot 1 and lot 2. Two lots.
To a sub? To a subdivision.
Two lots. Yeah.
Well, I don't see a plan. I have a plan, but there is none. somewhere around that. Oh, that needs some digital drawings. Giant.
Right, Good thing that was in the file.
Oh my
Send it
God. Here, I need to give that to your mom.
I'm gonna send a picture. over.
That's awesome.
That's great.
There's the business up there.
Yeah, this is where he was
That's
parking.
pretty awesome.
Do you think we need
I like
to?
that you
look at
hand
the
wrote
special
the
use permit?
note that she needs to.
I just pull it out just to make sure, make sure it's being conformed with.
So what he's doing, he's cutting the house off with 7 acres.
From the-
It's gonna incorporate the leach field and the pond and everything. And then his plan, his master plan is to build a home in the back.
This is awesome.
So that's what he wants to do.
Mhm.
And that's his plan. I don't know when he's gonna build the house, but he wanted to get the subdivision done.
Does he have any utilities in here as far as?
Just, I think it's just electric and stuff. I don't think there's anything.
Yeah, I think
Because
we
he's
have,
just running it as
I
a-
think we talked about sewer for a while with this.
Yeah, I
one.
think he's
There's a
just-
bunch of stuff
I think he
involved.
might have water in it to wash vehicles and stuff, but he's got there's nothing in it. I just didn't know if
I was wondering if there was septic that was going over that existing field, but if there is none, then.
no, not in that
So
building.
that
The
field's
house
just for the house.
Is this where the farm stand is?
Is that a pasture?
It's past it.
Just south of it? Okay.
Yeah, that's a fenced in for horses.
Okay.
Horses, yeah.
Ponies or something like that, so he's got enough area to keep them in there.
Yep.
I don't think we're any closer with the building to the existing lines. I think we're over the 100 feet. I can add a tie to the closest. That's the whole 100-foot horse.
Yeah,
thing.
the horse thing, we
I
should
think we're
probably
okay
add.
there. I'll put the shortest distance.
Okay,
I believe we're over 100 though. There is a couple NRI districts, steep slopes.
Yeah.
There
see
in the
that.
back.
Thank you for showing that.
Um,
Does the pond have anything associated with?
No, I looked, nothing popped up. And then there's just that outflow stream. It is a blue line stream on the,
Shows up as blue.
it shows up, so I put it on there.
what is
It-
this one?
That's your NRI district. It's steep slopes.
Oh, we put that in there as a,
Yeah,
oh, I like that.
so,
Back here.
That's really nice.
yeah, see if you look at that.
Yeah,
So-
I've never seen you do it like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the NRI thing because it's trying to make it a
We're
little
teaching.
more.
Gonna come
We're
up.
teaching.
Well, I mean, I
They're
can
allowed-
see it with the slopes. I can just see it. So
Mhm.
I just make it,
And you knew how tough we were, so you knew you better put it
you're
there.
gonna ask about it.
Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't know was if the barn being on its own parcel without something, but if he's
So-
in the ag res,
Right.
and there will be a house on it
You
eventually.
need to
What's
see
the
this,
rule of
John?
the
You need
primary
to see it?
structure?
No?
What?
What's the rule? So I believe subdivided numerous properties before they had like a standing barn or something on it.
Right,
But this will be essentially it's a commercial business operated on that, right? As an equipment?
I think so.
I don't remember what the
I don't
special
know,
use
if-
permit.
I don't know if the special use permit, I didn't look at that, I didn't know
I'd
if
have to
we had
look
to
at that
redo
too.
it, and then having
I
a
don't-
building
I don't think there's an issue. I just.
and
trying to
having a
figure out-
barn in front of, first of all, it's a barn on a standalone piece, I don't know, I know
Right.
if.
In the
that's a
future,
problem. And
You
the-
might need a variance because it'll be the accessory structure in front of the primary.
Correct,
structure.
which we can't put the house in front of the
Right.
building because
Right by the
we
road.
But,
can't.
Mhm.
but as a subdivision, I don't think that.
Okay.
would
I
come
don't
into
think it
play.
affects it yet, but I'll look at all of that.
But also it's pre-existing because
location.
there is a building in front of the house anyway,
Mhm.
so we're not
Mhm.
making it any worse, but
Right.
because we're creating a lot, we technically are, I don't.
Just
So-
pull the conditions out. for the
Yeah,
special
because the
use permit.
special use permit is tied to the property or the property owner. We used to do it one way and then I think I got corrected. and we
Because
switched
it transfers with the, with the
It
sale,
transfers with the property,
so it's with the property.
as long as it's used.
So the property though is now changing because
continuously.
we're creating a new one, so the tax account.
Oh, right, we are creating a new piece, a new
It
parcel.
may require us
Both of
to
them?
Amend the special.
amend the special use permit so that
just be
it
the
follows
one.
the new property. Right, it wouldn't be going over I don't believe it would change anything other than just tying it to the new parcel,
The new, whatever. plan.
whatever
New
that
lot.
is.
So the business is in
It's
the,
in the, yeah,
That top.
this,
Yep.
yep, so
That's where
just
all
tie
this
it to lot
It's like
one.
equipment storage. I don't remember how we got through, but it was pretty lengthy process more
Was
just
it?
because there's a couple people that were.
Was it the same
Opposed to it.
owner?
it's the
Yep.
same owner, yeah.
Alright, I'll find
was
it.
then?
Do we remember how long ago that was?
3 years ago, maybe?
Alright,
That was in 18.
Well, no.
alright,
I
I'll
have
find
my
it.
resolutions to go back to 17, and everything before that I deleted. 'Cause I was like, I'm not keeping them anymore.
18 was 4 years ago, just so you know. I mean,
Uh,
I know we
that's
had a
good. I said
code year
3.
and it doesn't count.
Yeah, that's a good point.
John, I'll look it up too.
Okay,
Monday.
thank you.
I'll find
It's
it.
pre-code.
I remember it.
My math isn't quite
What
there
is
yet.
that drinking?
Joyce gets every meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
So we could so just move it to lot one, the special use permit, so we could do amended special use permit and the subdivision, I'm assuming.
If we have to amend
If
it.
we have
I'm
to.
assuming we might have to, just to tie it to the new lot, but
They can't have a special use permit on both lots, right?
It's tied to a tax rate number.
Yeah.
Now we're
I
gonna change it.
think, yeah, there's like a standard condition that just runs that it's tied to the property owner and
Number.
for as long as
And
it
then
stays
make it easier though
operational.
in the future when there's an
Right.
issue, if something
Mhm.
comes up. That's fine.
Now, if we do the amended, they both require public hearing, subdivision and that, so you
You
can
can do it all at the same
time.
Totally, yep, all the same meeting. Okay,
Okay,
uh,
so, goes to,
so unlisted, right?
unlisted,
Mhm.
yep. You'll have to send it to the county this time, I guess. Sorry.
We do?
Yeah,
It's on County Route 32.
Oh.
It's on their highway, yeah.
Okay. Ontario County Planning Board.
And ag,
ECB, because you got the streamless slopes.
we're
Yes.
gonna do BCB, ag, county planning board.
Lance, you don't need to see this, right?
The only thing I'm gonna do is look up the special use permit stuff, just so
Well,
that won't draft
We
it
can
out.
do that, yeah, in-house.
Yeah, we can find that,
Right, I'll populate other resolution folders.
okay. So August 23rd, is that a date?
August 23rd. Just those three, Sean?
Yeah.
County,
County ag,
ECB,
yeah,
Chris, maybe, Jensen,
Christian.
because he'll let you know whether they've been in compliance.
yes, with the.
Special use permit. Hey,
Okey-doke.
23rd,
Yeah.
again,
Mhm.
August 23rd.
All going to ECB. looking through, I'm like, wait a minute, I think these are all.
That's definitely-
Yeah.
Greg's not gonna join, so we can just go through it.
Yeah, what rendition is this now?
Tied up.
Oh, okay. Wow.
For Analinda,
Island,
36, I think.
Okay,
Yes.
can we, I
Uh-huh.
just
See
wanna
my
make,
file on that one.
as old as I am.
I just wanna make sure that I have, cause I have 45, 49. Does that supersede, does 50 supersede 49?
You have the new one, which would have.
Shouldn't you,
I have the brand new one.
That's-
shouldn't you get a
This-
withdrawal,
This is
formal
Greg's
withdrawal on
piece.
all the other ones?
The other one's Corey's.
Corey's is
Oh.
a lot line adjustment.
Corey's is a lot line adjustment. Greg's is a subdivision. So we cleaned up
Okay.
the issue that we had from last time. That was,
Corey's.
it was, we had the lot line revision and then the other lot line
Right,
revision.
right.
So we had the line revision that was signed
Hmm.
and filed, but they didn't do the deed transfer. They
Yeah.
did the deed transfer, we cleaned that up, and then Corey's doing a lot line revision,
Okay,
and then he's gonna do a subdivision.
but we don't have that one yet.
You have that song.
Okay,
Okay,
And now Greg's doing a subdivision.
okay.
I know, it's,
so I've got, all
different
right,
lots.
so we've got Corey's, I've got Corey's is 49 and Greg's is 50.
okay.
Okay,
So Corey's would, there's, now that the lot line revision has been, has been approved,
yes,
signing off, gotta get the maps in. Now we're into subdivisions.
yes,
Now,
Both for both parties.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
The reason that we did the lot line revision was to not have a major subdivision report. Because we had like all these lots and stuff, so we did the lot, we cleaned it up, and now we're back into Corey's subdivision, but at the same time now Greg is
Asking for
doing
one.
subdivision.
Does it matter
We've
which one we look at first?
Well, no, Corey's has already been gone through PRC and everything.
so
Okay.
Corey's
It
was
was
on
just held up.
hold because,
Of
there
the
was-
driveway thing.
No, the deed.
no, the
transfer.
deed, there was never, the deed wasn't recorded
Yeah.
with the map, so it wasn't,
We were using a base map for his lot line revision that was based,
I got you.
a base map that was based on something that was filed but not transferred.
Understand.
Because it wasn't transferred, we had to get those deeds written and done.
Okay.
And then once we did that, we did a lot line revision report to clean his lots up, and then we're gonna do a subdivision report. That's all Corey's land now.
right, so
Corey's
so-
and Greg's.
Corey is asking to get on the next, to get on the July, the end of
and the
July.
planning. July.
So we need to confirm if that's okay.
But we have not forwarded them out to anybody yet, because I know that.
No, so we might
I'm not that
need
it may
more.
not come to MRB group, that's fine, I just.
Well, so I want to talk about
Oh,
Corey and I
sure.
want to talk about Greg today.
Well,
So we
there's no
figure out,
PCB before August now, we just had last week, so.
yeah, you guys haven't seen it.
no, we haven't. Last time we saw. it
Okay, so we're
was-
talking two separate lots.
We're
all u-
talking
All
two-
using Analinda as their access one.
So
Okay.
Greg has got, right now, up there, the Westbrook Holdings, you wanna go to just Encore?
Sure.
Cause you have Greg's house, you have Corey's rental, Corey's house,
Mhm.
you have Ashley's house. There's 4 homes that the Westbrooks have up there now.
Compound, okay.
So there'll be 2 more lots for Corey, we'll have 2 more homes eventually.
Corey will have 2A and 3A.
Right, so Corey's gonna have 2 lots that he's gonna sell, so there'll be 2 more homes there potentially. And then Greg is gonna have 2 extra lots for future use. So there'll be an additional 4 properties up there, when they're both done, they're both doing 2 lots. 3 lot subdivisions, 2 extra lots, so they're keeping their homes, creating 4 buildable lots. 2 on Corey's and 2 on Greg's. Greg using his private right of way is,
It would be helpful to me, and I think it'd be helpful to everyone to have like an overall plan showing that whole area up there, both lots or whatever lots are involved.
Question. So I'm just asking the question.
Yep.
I think the goal was to keep it as a minor subdivision.
correct, that's why we want
That's
to
why you
show
have
it.
two
yes.
separate.
Mhm.
Is there anything that we need just to document this from Matt? I mean,
All right, here we're
You
at.
know
They're
what
2
I'm
separate
saying?
properties.
I know,
They're not
but
one, we
they're
don't want
likely
to
going
write
to
them
be
in
on-
together
I'm just
because
saying they're likely to be on the same agenda
back to back.
under Westbrook.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be called minor subdivision, but you're gonna have 4 lots taking place on the same, I would think that we would want to make sure that we're clearly in conformance and agreeing that it's minor subdivision and you have that documentation available, because you're gonna have people and we're gonna have 4 lots taking place relatively under the same name. on the same-
Right, but I
in the
mean, if
same
I
name.
own a piece of property as a
Oh,
tax.
I'm not
owner,
arguing
My
it.
dad owns it, they're separate pieces that it has to be that way.
I'm not arguing it.
They're
I
not
just
one piece.
want to make sure that we have our ducks in a row. so.
I get it.
Okay. So this is Corey.
Yeah. And that doesn't represent the up-to-date.
Yeah, this is not the new
Tax method.
configuration because the deed
Oh,
was
the
just
line-
filed
the
like
line
2 weeks
adjustment.
ago. So Corey owns this,
Mhm.
this,
Mhm.
Greg is here, right?
Yep.
Okay,
And then Ashley
and
is.
then
north.
Ashley's
Yep.
up here.
There, she's not messing around with anything, so. Greg is basically, he's gonna cut off a lot just south of Ashley's that uses the private right of way for access, and then he's gonna cut off a lot just north of Corey's that'll also use the private right of way for frontage.
Which one do you have?
I've got Corey's and I've got Greg's.
Which one?
We haven't looked at either.
Corey's.
This is Corey's, but I'll pull them both up.
And the determination they'll get filed that was pending had to do with Greg's?
Corey's.
Greg's is
Oh, oh.
brand new, this is
Yeah,
the first
this
time
one I-
anybody's.
Okay, I see it now.
This is the first time we.
Everything that you know, like with the Westbrooks subdivisions, has been Corey up to date. It's been messing around with lot lines, but it's all been Corey's property that we've been focusing on.
Oh, all right, so Greg's got. I see, so one south of him and one.
One
north
south of
him.
Ashley
One by Ashley,
and
one
one
by
north of
Corey.
Corey.
Got
So
it.
he's cutting those. They have the proper frontage, they're under 3 acres, so they don't get into the width versus length because they're under 3. They're within, they're all within their realm of,
So Corey's the older one,
yes,
and that is subject to a determination that it's still active, right? It's going before the ZBA in July.
It is not active anymore, it
Oh.
was.
How did they fix the problem?
Well, here's
How'd
the
they
deal,
resolve?
this was, so
This was the problem, right?
that, yeah, the private drive, here, this.
Speak over your.
This configuration, I was using Encore, which I was like, what, wait, this isn't even recorded, but it was, the map was filed,
they never did the deed.
but the
transfer.
deed wasn't, so this is existing. This, the way it is, right
Lot
now,
one-
lot
1A
1A,
Is a separate lot right now.
yes,
So lot 1A
it comes
is a
down,
separate lot.
yeah,
As it
these
sits
are
right
not,
now.
no, these are
Yep.
not.
Those are the 2 green.
Yeah, lot 1A kind of, this line goes like straight down.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's configured.
So the lot line adjustment got rid of this.
But yeah, the
This
lot line
line.
addition, the lot line adjustment was Corey's and it came this down to here. So this was Corey's.
Mhm.
So this line now comes down the way it's configured now after the lot line division. And then this is the subdivision, the new subdivision.
These 2 lots.
Yeah, this
You've
is
seen a
new.
prior, we made them
Private drive.
wider.
The private drive is up there. That goes up to,
And that was the whole, that was the whole thing that was
Issue.
going back and forth. Chuck was the.
Yep.
the- What is a right of way and where can we
private
pull
drive,
frontage off
private
of?
drive.
that was the whole issue.
But that doesn't solve the problem of this lot having access to this driveway, right?
It does have access to that.
It's got
Well,
frontage on it.
Yeah, but that,
Yeah,
does that meet our requirements? I mean, that was the question. Can you have frontage on a private driveway?
yes. And that was we determined
That we
that
can.
we can, as it's written now.
Which is a private drive off a private drive. Which is a
Private
private
drive
drive off
extension.
of Linden.
Private driveway off a private drive.
Yeah.
On a
that's,
Linden extension.
mhm.
So Doug's determination to the ZBA, did that go through or did that get pulled?
It got pulled.
And then the understanding now is that we can't have frontage off a private drive as it's currently written.
Correct.
Okay.
Because we did that on Douglas. We just had to have the agreement in place,
Right,
which his is filed, that right away is filed.
So that takes care of the frontage issue.
it does,
With this,
it does, yep.
I think it's a 3-lot subdivision though, right?
Right?
Right, because it Corey's, the one
Corey?
that I'm looking at,
Well,
because you're.
yeah, you have the house lot and
Yeah,
then 2 lots,
and
so
then
3
3
lots.
Oh, no, it's fine. Still under the minor, just.
Right.
So-
And same thing with Greg's is a 3.
Right.
well, then it comes down to the issue of what's gonna happen with on Linda Drive in the future as more and more subdivisions occur, more homes are built up there. I mean, the planning board's been crying for years about somebody's gotta look at the impact of all these additional lots, homes, traffic.
That's why we made
Drainage.
the major subdivision rule, so that things like that.
I mean, under the new regulations, this couldn't go through. Well, no, a 2-lot could, I guess, even though it's a separate
Well,
lot.
Depending on how you look at it, right? And I'm just talking out
If you
loud.
keep the lots separated.
You have an existing driveway, roadway, whatever you want to call it, with a number of lots existing off of it. We're adding more to it. You know, like stormwater requirements, and they're not the same, but I'm only pointing this out because that's how DC goes through it. And they're saying, hey, you may be under the threshold every year, but eventually we got to look at the overall picture and say, cumulatively,
Mhm.
you're over that threshold, and then they require you at some point to address it. I'm not saying on this particular project, I'm not saying that is the case or isn't the case. I think we need to have an answer of how we are looking at that. Are we saying, because at some point you are adding 4 new lots to this roadway, whether it's
No,
separate.
you're right.
Yeah.
There's 100% of the
Right.
possibility of 4 homes. There is.
Right, yep,
4 new,
4 brand new homes.
But individually, like one could happen now, and one could happen 4 years
or it
from
could
now,
never happen.
right?
You just don't know.
Exactly,
If Greg goes to sell and then whoever buys it, buys them all. and, you
right.
know.
So I mean, I don't know what makes the most sense.
And you know, the people on the east side on Lynn, they're gonna come out screaming.
The people that live between, oh yeah.
Doing, well, yeah, Westlake.
They already are with Corey's.
Okay,
Right,
You're just gonna get the same letters,
from Lawrence Cook,
copy and paste.
right,
Yeah.
and their concerns are justified. I mean, I know with the drainage committee, that was one of the prime areas is
It's not just.
the water
drainage,
coming down on
Fire
Linda.
code too.
right, it's public safety.
And how can you, in your good graces and good conscience, approve more development to an area that's already got problems? I guess it'd be nice if all those property owners on Linda that use that for access
Could get together.
get together.
They won't.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've talked to Greg and I've talked to Corey about it, and there's a lot of, you know,
And they
Because
don't
they
even have
don't-
like right of ways, right? Because it's a private drive. There's not like a whole.
it's how everybody on there's got like a private driveway agreement clause and all their stuff. It's like maintenance and things, but
Yeah.
Right,
unless,
enough
you
to
know,
keep it
nothing-
clear.
enough
to
real
keep it
formal,
not- like it's not like,
not to fix it.
there's
Kind
no
of
like,
driven
it's
like
not
a
like a
little
town road where
Yeah.
when pavement
Right,
starts
right.
crumbling and cracking gets repaved by the, you know, it's a
Yeah.
joint effort. So they just do the, you know, snow removal and things of that nature.
So-
Can we require on Linda to be brought to standards of a private drive?
I'm going to, the one project that we recently had, Sarah Linda Hooker's property, came
Yeah.
in. And she was, what, adding a house?
She was tearing down.
Tearing down and rebuilding
So,
existing.
Not adding, just.
And we made her
Bring it,
upgrade her entire driveway to meet fire
Fire
code
code.
for
we
that.
did,
Because they had a number of lots off of it.
And it was a
Turn
dirt-
around, widen the road, bring it up to standards.
Yep.
and it was a dirt road.
That could be your justification. Because there's no other way out of there. I mean, it's a dead end road. No other way in. So from a fire and safety standpoint, yeah, maybe,
No, it would
Not
probably
great.
be something, I mean, if that was the direction, it would be subdivision with a caveat that that gets done prior to the first building permit type of thing. We would have to work through that detail. I don't know how that gets interpreted by Chris, but if that was the direction that the board went.
Who would determine what the fire code would look like? Because it is, I mean, it is wide enough.
right,
I think it would be, you would have to have a turnaround We have to have a turnaround so that fire apparatus can get down there. The question that's gonna come up, and I don't know how to answer it without doing core sampling, but is it capable of handling float? If it's wide enough and we have a turnaround,
We
I
know
think
it's
there's an argument
capable
there.
of, because Corey's and Greg's houses were just being
I've
built.
seen
They-
worse.
You got that house
Seen
going up now.
worse.
There's, I mean, it's definitely, I mean, with the concrete trucks that Greg was bringing in and out, it's, I mean, it's holding up, but it's
I would-
old.
I would think that we would at least, if the board was to move forward, then between us and Chris, what we were requiring, I would think if we could document that it's wide enough and you had a turnaround, at least that puts it into the conversation of being compliant.
Well, you'd have the question of who pays for that too. Is it all the residents of Honolulu? or is
That's
it
the
just
thing. That's the
neighborhoods?
biggest thing is like, if that is
And you're
something
putting
that's.
a lot of.
That I don't know.
expense
One
on
person said-
everyone because somebody's
Well, one person-
subdividing, you know.
The
so
board
it's-
wouldn't be able to require it to be paid for right away, right? But they can require it to be done.
And that's where it's like. okay.
Would that be a planning board thing? Or is
I think
that a
it's-
town board?
I think, but there might be a town board action associated with it, but I think, you know, off the cuff, looking at it, I just don't see how we couldn't require that driveway to be brought up into compliance to meet the town's requirements associated with fire code and safety requirements. As it relates to the drainage stuff, I think there's ways that we can work through that, in my opinion. But I think being that it's a subdivision, the question becomes, when do you require it? How do you require it? And I think at least for right now, it's gotta be the width, it's gotta have a turnaround at the end. Some type of a turnaround that allows apparatus to maneuver around meeting the criteria. Now, the question after that, Anthony, becomes, like, what, is it a right of way that you put? Is it just an easement to who, to all lots? And maybe that's how you get them to pay in.
Well, you show a 40-foot right of way.
Yeah, there's a right of way there. It's all existing. I mean, it's, the road is wide enough and all
Okay.
that stuff. I'm just.
But
So,
Ashley's driveway comes off of lot 4 now, proposed lot 4.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna have to clean that up.
That's showing a 30-foot right
So it's 14 feet.
Front road.
But you're talking about putting it on,
20 or
putting a
20.
turnaround on Greg's piece
On Alinda,
or on Alinda?
On Linda?
not Greg's driveway.
There's nowhere to put one.
You know,
Where on
right.
Alinda?
That's what.
There's nowhere to put a turnaround unless you take someone's, I mean, you're talking.
Or you're
a
using
70
somebody's land.
foot lot. Like you need, I mean, even just you can't do an alt turnaround because there's nowhere past it, so you have to do this. There's nowhere to put that on. It's impossible. No, it's.
Without chewing someone's property up.
Well, you
I
can't go,
agree with- I
you can't
understand
go
what you're saying.
60 feet to the right because if you go east, it drops off.
Yeah.
So you would, I mean, you're talking
Steep slope.
a $250,000 improvement just in a turnaround.
I'm just telling you, Sarah Lynn Hooker was required to widen your driveway to 20 feet wide and put a turnaround at that. end. It's not even close to the number of lots that are outside.
That's gonna have
That
to
was
be.
before the town to make sure-
Before that is, I would request
4.
sitting down with Greg and
3.
Corey,
I agree.
with everybody in the town to go over that, because they're gonna have to be part of that before we go any further than
I'm
this.
thinking,
Yeah.
before I said that, I would
Right.
not want to put this before the plan board without having that conversation, because I'm pretty
That
sure
has
it's
to
going
be.
to happen.
What exacerbates it. Extension of those lots takes this driveway, runs it up further. So now you've got
Which one?
His driveway to his
His-
property.
Greg's development
Yep.
will extend this driveway further.
Greg's is already to Ashley's.
It goes all the way to Ashley's
Yeah.
now.
So it goes all the way to Ashley's.
Here.
Okay, but you're putting more lots is what I'm getting.
So here's
We take this.
Ashley's, right?
Like Corey's.
So you have to.
It's kind of like this. This is this driveway, private drive is coming up. So that's this. Yep. It already goes all the way here, right? So we're adding this lot and then this one. off of this one, right?
That's my problem. You're adding more lots to
Right.
a private drive that essentially is Greg's right now, right?
It's Greg and Ashley's and Corey's. So they're all, there's 3 people involved on it. Or the whole lot is already. So Corey's,
Ashley.
Corey's, Ashley, and Greg's frontage is all off.
Whose barn is that, Greg?
Greg's. He has a, I think, statement for that. What he built it.
So just.
Obviously, it's slopey there because of
Yes.
the S curve.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's,
But couldn't you just connect from the top of that S curve up to Ashley's and that would give you a circle? If it's wide enough.
RSM.
Yeah.
My suggestion, Roxana, would be that I would suggest having a meeting with Westbrook's and you, Chris, and Chuck. Us, to kind of walk through the stuff that likely be required. I think it's important to have Chris here because he's gonna require certain conditions, and then I think it would be good to have that conversation with Greg.
Yeah, that
before-
needs to be
Before we
had.
put it before the plan board, because you're in the public hearing there, and I don't wanna, it's
Do
gonna
it,
delay
right.
it. We won't be able to approve it without having those dialogues. I mean,
Even if
that's up
it's,
to you. It's up to you.
even
whether or
if
not
we
you
were
wanna
to
do it. It's
pull
not my
Greg's
fault.
and just do Corey's. Or is this gonna be required no matter what?
It very well could be required no matter what. I'm not gonna tell you to pull them and not move forward. That's your call.
All right,
But my suggestion would be to
I'm gonna
sit-
have
a sit down
Greg
with
call
everybody.
you
Call me.
and set up a meeting.
Okay.
Do you guys?
I think that
disagree with
needs to be
thought
had.
process?
I think that's fine, but I think we need to pull Doug into it.
Yeah.
I have no
Yeah.
problem.
That's
with
fine.
who
I
wants
would
to
think,
tell
I
them.
think it needs, because of what it is and what could be required. based on Sarah Linda's, that's gonna be my reasoning with Greg is they required it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, I'm not saying it will be required. I'm saying it very well could be, and I don't feel confident throwing 2 subdivision applications before the board
I get it.
and then running through it with public.
It's gonna be a very big meeting.
Yeah,
So, yeah, let me make sure we have everybody. So.
I mean, it's a subdivision action. If they're willing to hold to make sure we get it right, could have some pretty particulars associated with it.
Okay.
All right, so we've got Greg, Anthony, Corey, Lance, Chuck, Chris.
Jared.
Hmm?
Jared.
Wow.
I would just have Chris take a quick look at it and so he's prepared to have that dialogue and then when we.
Have him go up there and look at it, as far as fire, so he
Exactly.
knows it would be beneficial. I know he's been up there a million times.
Right, and he said certain things before, I just don't know if anything's changed, if his opinion's changed on certain things, so as long as he's prepared to have that dialogue with us, I think that's gonna matter. As it relates to the subdivision stuff, if you take all Island out of the equation, you're just talking subdivision,
They're all,
What are we talking
exactly,
about?
they're nothing.
Right.
but when
Can
you,
you zoom out a smidge?
it's all the pre-existing
So that's
issues that are out.
Annalinda between the lake and there, right? Yeah, so Annalinda
Here's
just
Annalinda.
ends. There's no turnaround on the.
No, Annalinda goes with that end. There's like a little
Yeah.
private turnaround.
Little bitty
thing,
one.
and Nothing
Just
that,
scary
Yeah.
little turnaround.
like right now, if anything happens,
Yeah, where do they go? Fire trucks go?
they back in and back out of, they just kind of, these things, kind of use it where they
I
can.
know we approved that lot at the end
There's like a
for
little,
that young couple,
Mhm.
that this whole issue of on Linda came up then with the neighbors.
I mean, you might be able to put a turnaround at Greg's frontage, but it doesn't fix, you could do it, but
I don't,
It's 2 different lots, of course.
so there's this little,
Pull up.
yeah, I mean, that's not,
That's a car.
might be,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
500
No, there's
Maybe
no
I mean,
room
your
there.
standard,
Pull over
your
to where-
standard hammerhead for a fire apparatus per appendix D is
Yeah.
60 by 120.
I think there has to be some
Which is
accommodations like.
Big.
If you want to see what this, exactly what it was, go up to where Barrow had his.
Yeah,
It's
right.
Massive.
Right, and I don't think, I would like to pretend that that wouldn't be, it's just some level of turnaround to accommodate fire trucks, but that's a conversation that goes beyond
That's a,
me. you
right.
know?
That has to be,
It's too bad they can't make into his private drive. We could turn it around into his private drive. and it's not a lot of issues.
What's
Well, we
in the
could-
RSM?
Well,
Sounds-
that's
Right,
not
RSM's
RSM,
right
that's
here.
very special, that part right there. That's the potential trail right there, that's the sewer easement that you see.
Yeah, that's a sort of.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
that's the potential trail location that is there.
So Anthony, I guess, I apologize for speaking over anybody. You have 2 applications before the town. Are either of them ready to move forward? Like, technically, do they have all the criteria? I'm asking because if you don't suggest to pull it, then
I don't want to suggest, I'm not gonna make that call. I have to talk to Corey and Greg, because I know Corey's got some timeline sensitive things going on. He really needs to get this thing approved. And I know if I call him in 10 minutes and tell him he's gonna be tabled until we figure out the Honolulu Drive situation, you're gonna get a phone call. I don't know.
Mhm.
I mean, I can't make that decision for my clients in this piece of property, so I'm not gonna say we're gonna pull it. I don't want to.
Well, and it's gotta go to ECB, period, and that's August, unless, you know.
Yeah, I think both of them are probably likely on the August 13th meeting. But the question is do we continue to move forward with it, knowing that this other meeting has to happen, which could possibly not happen until after Friday, which is the deadline for getting applications through. So that's why I'm only having this conversation now.
Well, I think we could tentatively plan to have it
To let
on
it
at
move.
August,
We
knowing
can always
that,
table it if we're running. into
well,
a
knowing
deadline.
that Corey, like, they're gonna want to
Yeah.
have this meeting soon.
He wants to be scheduled. Whatever happens with the town and how the town wants to go
Mhm.
forward, which I think Greg and Corey need to be part of that.
Yep.
So they understand.
I totally agree. All right, so maybe we just finish our review of this. Make the notes that we typically would, and then put a general note into that we were suggesting that a meeting between the two parties occurred.
See what happens.
See what happens from there.
For each application
one.
in August.
Yeah.
Fix on a window all at once. Be great.
Chuck,
Yeah, I think Corey's,
For sure.
assuming
Half a
we
million
get
dollar
some
project to fix Honolulu
Or do we
Drive.
put 'em on the-
agreement on this, we can probably work with Corey at the first meeting in August, because
that's what I'm saying.
it's a revision, it's a submission, so we can justify that under our.
Yeah,
our
that's what I
protocol.
was thinking. He could go first.
But, Greg,
He was on the first meeting, does that first one gotta go to
there's a
CD?
lot of questions on this.
There would be time for this to go to ECB.
Before the first August.
August
meeting?
4th, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that is ECB. It's not even a county road for
Well,
sure.
I don't know where it is.
Less than.
So,
Yeah.
August 9th, is it? Yeah,
ECB, I think it's the week before that.
yeah, it's the 4th.
Thursday, right? Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be the 9th.
So we're shooting for Corey on the 9th, but we gotta have some decision as to where we stand on Linda in terms of the requirements regarding fire code. What has to be met. And then the earliest, Greg, would be the
Both of them on listed actions, both of them are public hearings.
okay, so you want to go through what the recommendation, not recommendations, or referrals
Yes.
for Greg?
Well,
Everybody but ag.
Yeah. Everybody on the list.
Yeah,
Everybody on the list.
I don't know what
Every-
kind of soil they have over there.
Corey does have.
Can we get, can we get a harvester up on Honolulu?
Jesus.
Probably could.
Yeah.
You get a fire truck up there. You can.
You looking at the soil?
It's definitely
I think it's just white, so I think you're good.
All right, so
not far.
Chris for both.
I know that. I
ECB
spent more
for
time
both.
staring at that map than anything else.
You guys got a lot of maps, that's
We
right.
do.
Fletcher,
We used to have the little whiteboards check off and now we have nice
MRB.
fancy maps, so. But there's so many of them.
Kevin.
Yep.
Kevin is concerned about that hill too.
yeah.
He's written many.
We should have Cheshire Fire.
Yeah.
I think it would be important to have them respond back on this application.
I absolutely
Need a
do.
response? Not a no response kind of
Yeah,
yet.
right.
Yeah,
Regardless of what direction they go, they should have it.
okay.
Would it be tough to put a sketch plan or overall plan together of the two subdivisions side by side? I mean, I don't want to spend Greg's money, but
Could we do that for the communal meeting? I think that would be helpful.
that would be helpful to me. I'm sure it'd be helpful to anyone who's not totally familiar with this project.
Yeah, I mean, I have overall, yeah, I could probably It would be pretty
Are
dirty.
these the same scale? No.
Different colors, so we know which ones.
I have the overall plan that I used a long time ago. Like I said, it might not have high detail, but it would be.
Showing current lot lines, I mean, with the lot line adjustments, you could revise it to reflect those? The ones that.
Yeah, I just wouldn't want it to be an official map.
No,
showing
no,
the full
no,
lot
I think it's
subdivision.
just
It would be
big
just
picture.
big
I'm just
picture.
trying to get a big picture of,
Yeah, I
what's
could come,
happening on
I
that
could come
hill.
up with something basic, but it would be.
I mean, doing this thing piecemeal like we are, it's like, a lot here, a lot there. a
Right,
lot
but I mean,
there.
the way it is is
Two separate
it's
applications.
two separate
Oh, it's two
applications.
separate, I realize that.
I can create a working file.
You could just draw something on I for it, you know.
Well, no, I have it all. Putting it
Putting it together.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be helpful,
Shona, so Greg's will go on the 9th. I mean, Corey's will go on the 9th,
as of now, yep.
as of for now,
Tentatively, yeah.
tentative. And then Greg's on the 23rd.
Yes.
Concerns over fire code.
And then to see about that. I'll pick up
You
Corey's.
got the
previous.
county getting Greg's planning board,
County Planning Board?
yeah, or not. no.
No.
I think that's it, right?
All right, thanks.
Thank
You don't wanna take that home?
No, I said it to Pat. She's good.
Did you
I
text
did, I
it to her?
texted her. Thank you
Guys,
guys.
Anthony,
Shauna, can you just send a note to the HOA, the Lakewood HOA on that project, since so many Riley's neighbors are adjoining neighbors?
That's right. You got neighbors in the north and, or west and neighbors in the east.
Thank you.
There's a lot of Riley's people that are adjoining.
Can they see the back of Greg's house? Well, they can.
You absolutely can back there.
Okay,
You
I
can see it right from walking on Riley's.
Yeah.
Road. And the HOA has trails that go in there next to his house and his property.
then he put
Next
the
to his
water,
lot. I
then
mean,
they put the water in and cleared out some of the woods to put the water in.
Mhm,
That he ran down from the top.
So,
I just don't want any more noise than has to be a planning board meeting.
oh, I agree, but I
Cause-
just think that they should know if it's.
Oh, yeah, no, they should know. But I'd like to get it ironed out before,
Mhm.
especially with Don Linden neighbors.
Well, that's tough. I mean, that's really changes, that whole nature of that county's been changing and changing and changing. so-
Every house they put there.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about this with an ordinance and how this and the trigger for major versus minor. And we talked about how if somebody already has multiple lots, that next lot could trigger,
Mhm.
that fourth lot could trigger the.
And
the
this is
major
showing you how to get
Cumulative
around
effect.
it.
We
And
don't
I know
like-
you're trying not to say that, but you know what, you were,
Yeah.
you were
I will-
being very diplomatic.
I don't know.
Well,
if
I-
it was.
And they keep saying it's two lots, two separate lots. I mean, two applications, each are only two lots. Well, combined, they're four lots.
Because of the law we just made. I mean, it's
Right.
it's not in keeping with the point of the law.
It'd be different if they were spaced, I mean, they're on the same
Yeah.
community property. I mean, there's no other way to look at off one single road.
Mhm.
So you're still adding 4 lots to the, technically you're adding 6 lots. 'cause
At
you-
I
the same
think you're
time.
adding 6,
Yeah,
really. I mean,
it's-
if you're gonna look at
Two
it
of them are
that way,
existing, but yeah, there are
they're being
technically
reconfigured,
3 lot subdivisions for both.
right?
Mhm.
It's gonna be tough. I know Chris's position on the fire code. I know what we made Sarah Linda Hooker do for her property. Just,
Her flat
yeah,
little.
for the
Piece.
4
Oh,
residential lots that are out there. We
Mhm.
got 22 or whatever off of this one.
Mhm.
Okay,
All right,
moving right along.
all right, so we
get some
did
guests with us.
Westbrook, Lucas is here.
Okay, sorry to keep you waiting.
Hey guys,
Hi, Lucas, how are you today?
Good morning.
good.
There's other people here.
Sorry I couldn't be there in person today, but
That's okay.
I can run you through this project if you like.
Sure.
Basically 2 lots there on County Road 16, just south of the block residence that we just did on Rochester Point Drive. two lots with two small cottages on there, and they're basically combining those two lots and creating one of the more traditional size homes that we're seeing go in.
Nice way to put
Similar
it.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Traditional.
So it's on septic down there. So it'll be a new septic system, conventional septic system. And we submitted that. It'll also go to the state health department just because of its proximity to the lake. And the site plan is relatively straightforward. There's nothing too fancy on this one. But there's 4 variances, well, definitely 3 variances. One I'm not sure about, but 3 setbacks, all of which are the same or greater than existing conditions. But since we're combining lots, there's no pre-existing nonconformities. So the lakeside setback is staying the same. The roadside setback is increasing. And the driveway setback is staying the same. The driveway access is going to be in the same location as the southern property, but it's not 10 feet from the side lot line. So that one, I'm not sure if that's a variance or not, but either way, we submitted it as such. And then lastly is lot coverage. We're 1.9% over. Yeah, there you go. So in order to, we've really pared down the site coverings as much as possible. You can see the driveways relatively short and the walkways are limited. So that 1.9 that we're over, we're offsetting with a rain garden. Anyways, we'll be presenting that to the zoning board and seeing how that goes. So.
See how it goes.
What's the total square footage of disturbance associated with the project?
Disturbance, it's just over 20,000 square feet.
Just to put in the rain garden or some drainage mechanism would likely be required regardless of lot,
Yeah.
due to the fact of disturbance. Okay.
Do we have a tree map of whatever trees are on the property and what's being moved or taken down or replaced?
He's gonna need a shoreline
Yeah, I was
guidelines.
just gonna say shoreline.
Have you submitted that, Lucas, a shoreline
Oh, yeah, it's
guidelines
here.
evaluation?
I
Okay,
got it.
which would include a landscape plan?
Yep, there's landscaping in the plan set.
And it would show the existing foliage trees and all. Okay, we're looking at something close
What
to it.
is this? This is a grading.
If you go to the last sheet, you
Yeah.
should see some proposed landscaping too.
You concerned about existing trees coming down?
Existing,
Yeah.
we like to say
So
existing
make sure,
from
yeah,
and
it's
lakefront
something that
stuff.
shows the existing and what's being affected and what you're gonna add. So that's the sheet. Huh?
So there's nothing
Yeah.
going around the front of the property? I don't see any landscaping in the front.
I think those-
Along, well, there's those existing trees now.
Yeah,
I'm showing them all as to be protected, yeah.
okay.
But 2 of them may need to be replaced. You can see that there's some grading around the root system of those. Basically those 2 that are inside the contour limit. So,
Mhm.
those may not survive and would be replaced if they don't make it. But they want to keep those trees if possible. There's 1 tree I'm showing to be removed along the frontage where next to the driveway, about where that concrete washout area is on this sheet.
You have a size and species of trees being removed?
There's 1 tree proposed to be removed, and I could tell you it's about a 6-inch caliper, I believe it's a maple, but I can provide that info.
Yeah, anything to be removed should be pointed out. And then,
It's not along the shoreline, but
yeah, you said it's over on the driveway side,
yeah,
but you said possibly along the shoreline in that contour area, that two
Yeah.
trees may have to come out.
okay, so I can get you those better species information on this plan.
Lucas, is the tree on the north, the lakeside, the north lakeside? Is it on, which property is it on? Is it on this property or there?
It's pretty much right on the line. Now, they own the.
They own
lot
that
to the
property,
north.
right? Okay, so
Well,
they
yeah.
want to protect that tree, right? That's big.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay. So they're tearing down 2 houses and building one. And then they own the one to the north.
Correct, yeah. Going from three contiguous lots to 2 essentially.
Too. Okay.
And then I believe that their plan is to move into one of the 2 and sell the other.
And what? I didn't hear you.
Essentially move from the lot to the north to this new lot.
Oh, okay.
And sell off the old one, yeah.
Got it.
Roof trees, they will go to a sump or some sort of collection area, or before they go into the lake?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the beginning of that question.
The
Where
roof
it's going
drain.
to a sump?
The roof drains.
Okay, yeah.
Will they be conveyed to some sort of collection point and then discharged, silt taken out, set like a settling basin or something?
Yeah, they'll all go through the rain garden, which essentially serves that purpose. It'll sort of slow down the water and allow any silt that maybe is coming off the roof to drop out. And it'll
Okay.
act as a temporary sedimentation basin during construction.
What's the distance between the pool and the lake?
Good question.
Lucas, what's the distance between the pool and the lake?
37 feet. Essentially the same setback as the current house, or
Okay, so
the old house and the current house.
Oh, variance.
So that needs a variance. Is that on here? Is that on your area variance application?
I just have a rear setback variance.
You do, okay.
Yeah, for the overall property, both the pool and the proposed house are 37 feet from the lake.
The lake curves out there.
The front setback is 40 feet where 60 is required. We're meeting the side setback, but the front rear driveway is not covered.
Being that this is in the view shed, and you combine the lots, but it still doesn't meet the 1 acre, like what's the protocol for that? Do we, I mean, he combined the
Make it
lots,
better.
but-
That's making it more.
right, but probably a statement has to be made that just says we recognize that it can't achieve the 1 acre lot, and then obviously we tied the shoreline guidelines in terms of screenage.
Right, I would suggest that you really ramp up the shoreline guideline statement, Lucas. It's only a paragraph. You
Okay,
might want to make that a little more descriptive and detailed.
One of the main reasons, Lucas, is you're in the view shed, the scenic view shed, and there's requirements that the town has to consider. Obviously, we're handcuffed a little bit due to the property size, and I think we acknowledge that. So anything additional that you could put in your cover letter to support the planning board, to allow them to make the findings needed. And their review of the shoreline would go a long way.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
Sort of a unique portion of the lake is, more of a beachy area compared to some of the other areas that are more of a bank.
mm-hmm. And I mean, this is a property that's gonna be, I mean, that, it's like a straight shot view of the lake, there's nothing screening it whatsoever. So that, acknowledging that is very important.
How wide is the property overall? I mean, we've got a 60-foot setback from one side and a 60-foot setback. Is it over 120 feet wide?
Yeah, it's 145 wide
Okay,
when the two lots are combined.
okay.
And the pool,
Sorry.
the pool's an in-ground pool, right?
Correct, yeah. It'll stick out of the ground on the lakeside.
Surrounded by landscape. Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
All right,
All right, thank you, Lucas.
we know what you're trying
Yeah,
to do.
of course.
Let's see, so
Alright.
ZBA would be the 16th. I guess.
August 16th.
What, Lucas, I'm sorry, what's the distance between your driveway and that southern property line? Is there more than 10 feet there?
No, there's about 3.2 feet there.
All right, so that'll,
That's a variance.
that's a
there.
variance too.
Change.
Yeah, and that's how we submitted it. I
Okay,
wasn't sure if that was a waiver or a variance, but it's in the same location as the current driveway access, so it makes sense to come in there.
That's fine, I was just asking.
so
Good-
the
good
ZBA
catch.
is 16th.
Nancy Seeker?
Resident, this is only a site plan application, right? That's
Yes.
Before us? Then yeah, this is a type 2 action. Residential is type 2.
Goes to the county, Shona? or
It
no?
does,
It does?
county, ECB, Chris. I'm gonna have Leaf look at it, because there's two houses coming down, two cottages, I don't know anything about them. Do you know when they were built?
20s.
Probably 20s.
Not
Cottages?
exactly. They're older.
Okay, we'll have our historian check it out.
Having walked there, I would guess 20s.
Jim Fletcher, MRB planning, or county planning. Cheshire Fire, Kevin, Ovani.
Guess there's public water. Yeah, off of County Route
Yeah,
16.
public water.
There.
Yeah,
is.
yeah, 16.
And
Yeah.
then the septic system.
Yes,
Sewer doesn't go that far.
DOH.
Okay.
okay.
The day the public water went in there.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
get more info, John?
No, good, good.
So ZBA 16,
16?
planning board, if they get approval on the 23rd.
So we go zoning board, planning board, not planning board, zoning board, planning board.
Right,
Okay,
zoning
cool.
board. And then if you get approval, move to planning board.
Cool, okay.
And you'll get me that lot line adjustment? You said in your email?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, I'll send that. I'll stop in this week with that and the overhaul, the upgraded shoreline statement.
great.
And anything else you need, let me know.
The existing trees, as far as
Mhm.
what's to be removed.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, more information on the existing trees.
Yes.
thanks,
Thank you,
Lucas.
Lucas.
Yep, thanks, guys. Have a good day.
All right, you too.
Okay,
That's nowhere near that stream, right? That's pretty far away.
is there a stream?
Not
It's
there.
Not there,
Oh.
that's why I'm like,
Oh.
it's not quite there, I'm like, south, it's, the stream's north of there, I think.
Yeah, I'm trying to get visuals where it is.
It's not on the property, I know, I was just wondering.
He said it's a traditional.
Yeah, I love it.
Love
The
that.
traditional size of the house is going in there. I'm like, okay.
It's actually it's a little modest compared to what we've seen.
I can't, how many square feet is the house?
I think it's 4,000.
All right, so we have two sketches.
We
for,
have for
solar?
distributed sun. Matthias is here.
Greg, we talked about your application. Did you
I talked to him.
want to revisit it?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, if you don't mind waiting.
Nope, no problem.
Okay.
at all.
no problem. We have someone on the line
Yeah,
representing either of the
Matthias.
applicants?
Yep, that would be, he represents the property. And I'm gonna pull the.
Thank you.
55, 40, 55.
The first and foremost question on both these is, I guess, the type of
Yeah, oh,
soils.
that's the-
Has that been determined yet, or
Yeah, where are they on the roads? There's no addresses on those things.
County Road
I gotta
30
find
or
the one.
New Michigan?
Oh. Matthias, do you want to talk about your projects while I pull them up? You can start with, let's start with Stockwell's.
Yeah, so this is a application for two solar arrays co-located on the site on County Road 30. I believe it's 1600 block. That might be the other one. So these are going to be single axis tracker ground mounted solar. We have been made aware of the prime farmland ordinance. We're still hoping to find a way to do these projects. You can see on the last page of the sketch plan, we've mapped out the farmland soils as they're listed online.
We're getting a lot of feedback from you. Is there any way that we can put headphones on or here?
It might just be a microphone location thing. Is this better?
You're coming through clear, but there's a lot of background
Yeah,
noise
background.
when you talk. It's hard to hear you.
Okay. I don't have any headphones within striking distance. I can try to call in. Is that easier?
Sure.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
So where is this on County Road 30? What is, I'm just trying to place where we are in the town
lot
So
of-
there's two, let me pull it up.
while he's finding that.
One's on 30 and
One's
one's on New
on New
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, I see that, I know the
Let's
roads,
do
but I'm just
30
trying to
first,
figure out
since you
where
had
they
that up.
are.
Yeah, let me get it.
Give us a point of
New
reference.
Michigan is Tony DiPrima's son.
Yeah. To know to tell when to-
Let me get the text. Matt.
Oh, that's true, I can always look at the text. message.
No, it's okay. Oh, there.
I never thought about that. Let's try this. That's a good. And you got the plans.
How does that sound?
Much
That's
better,
perfect. Thank you.
much better.
Sorry about that. my computer might be reaching the end of its days. As I was saying, yes, this is on County Road 30. Two small co-located solar arrays. The reason we put together the sketch plan, of course, is due to the prime farmland issue. Now, this site specifically, we're looking to provide power to over 1,600 households for the area. That's pretty much the short answer. I'm happy to answer any other questions y'all might have.
So the sketch plan that or the plan that you show us you did it with the farmland classifications of prime soils, correct? I can't see this.
Yeah, what's the red shaded area?
Yeah, the red is project. What is the red?
Or what appears to be red?
Yeah, maybe it's not, maybe it's just.
Yeah, that's it's pink on mine. That's prime farmland if drained.
Okay. And is there any prime if not drained on this one? Or just prime, is there?
About a third of it is prime farmland.
Is that delineated? on
Where
the
is
plan?
that shown?
That should be the yellow area in the middle.
Oh, that's all
Oh, it's all
prime.
red.
Okay.
And this is south of I-20, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, here,
So
look,
that's in our.
here we go.
I think the regulations say
Thank you.
thou shalt not on valuable farmland.
Yeah.
I guess that's to be determined by the ag committee.
Planning- Well, right,
Simon.
ag and planning board.
Yeah, we have some data that these soils aren't necessarily super great. So we were slightly confused by the prime farmland designation. So we would like to talk to the ag board about that.
I think that's your first step on both these applications. Because if
Yeah, I agree.
the ag committee says to us, as a planning board, that it is valuable farmland, we, full stop. I mean, we can't go any further.
That's what I understood, yeah.
So I think you should run this sketch by them first
Okay,
and get a clarification as to, if and where the valuable farmland is in their minds, and plead your case. And then if you're successful there, then come to the planning board and we can talk about site design and all the other items.
that makes sense. Yeah, the other project has a lot of that if drained classification. This project on County Road 30 has a little bit less of it. So yeah, it makes sense. Does the ag board kind of follow the same sketch plan rules?
No, they will, well, I mean, they
don't have rules.
don't really, I was gonna say.
I mean, they don't have plan application procedures per se.
We
So
will, yeah, we'll refer it to them for their next meeting, which I'm not sure when that is, soon, well, soonish.
July?
They already met in July, I believe.
Okay.
I will coordinate that with you and let you know the date. I
Okay,
just don't
Shauna,
know
that
it
sounds
off-
great.
Yeah, I just don't know it off the top of my head. All right, can you see my screen? I just pulled up the other piece.
It should come through in a moment.
So this is at the very top of the town.
Oh, we're looking into Prima. Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is right at the corner where the town of Canandaigua touches East Bloomfield, town of Victor, and town of Farmington. The top northwest corner of the town.
Are these properties that are currently being farmed?
To some extent, I believe the first one we looked at may or may not be farmed this season. We've got some ground cover hay in the New Michigan Road project this year. From what we've been told, there's not really much else you can grow on this land.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure in your meeting with the Ag Committee, they will be aware of the lots and know the significance as far as our farming community.
There will probably be some opposition on that one, on the Michigan Road.
From neighbors?
Why Michigan Road more than CR30?
I don't know the County Road 31 all that well, but I'm familiar with the New Michigan Road one and some of those residents that came before Farmington for our project that was in that same relative location. I'm not saying for certain, I'm just anticipating that you're likely going to have some people opposed to this in that spot.
Yeah, we're aware. We're aware of the subdivision that's currently being finished up pretty nearby. So that makes some sense to me. Yeah, we'll be happy to talk with the Ag Board about the soil restoration work that kind of goes along with building these things. We use a seed mixture that's designed to put nutrients back in the soil. So yeah, I'm looking forward to talking to them about that to see if we can come to some sort of an understanding. Because, you know, we think of these as temporary structures. In 25 years, when this is done, it will be good for farming again.
Do either of these have the battery storage on site?
Are you proposing batteries?
We haven't spec battery storage for these two projects. When we initially started looking at these for the landowners, which I believe was at the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, batteries weren't necessarily financially viable. If that is something that the town would like, that's definitely something we're willing to talk about. I deduce that you might be asking that question because of fire safety.
Well, I'm not gonna speak for the town.
I think we're just.
I think that's something the town would be concerned about.
Yeah.
As opposed to be interested in.
It's something that we've just started looking at, but not one way or the other, but you know, we know that it's something that's coming down the road that we need to consider.
I don't think.
Yeah, whether or not, and like I said, I don't think we'll be installing batteries for these two projects. We would be happy to help the town learn a little bit more about that. I actually spent about a year doing operations and maintenance on solar plus storage sites. So I can talk your ear off about battery safety if you'd like.
We're good.
So
Yeah.
I just had a question. You said that the County Road 30 site would provide power to 1,600 residents. How is that? Doesn't it just go back into the grid?
Well, through the community, through the particular I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
Through the New York State Meter Stack system, these are actually going to be called community solar projects. So the way that works is people who are located close to the array are actually able to sign on directly for the power generated by that array. So that gets folded into their energy bill, which leads to a 10 to 15% reduction in people's energy bills who sign on because they are getting power directly from the solar array. It takes some math and accounting. Yes, the power does go to the grid, but these are connected to the distribution level electrical system instead of the transmission system. So the power is distributed locally.
Okay.
Are these both AR1 districts or? What's the zoning?
Over there, where'd it go? There it is.
Yeah, I haven't even checked the zoning yet.
Yeah, well,
I looked
just-
at them.
Just looking ahead of the drafts that we have. Okay,
They are too.
so we're,
Yeah, yeah. Well, they are too.
AR2,
At least according to this thing on the
Yeah,
back of the wall. huh?
okay, that's one of the districts.
AR1's all over on the.
Yeah. That's one of the
west,
districts
east side
Bob
town.
was gonna pull,
2 acre
but
lot.
hasn't happened yet, so. Of course, they haven't applied yet.
Shauna, does this get referred at the stage or
No,
No,
just the ad committee?
yes. That's it.
all right, so we'll,
Yeah,
Shauna,
yeah, I'll coordinate with you
coordinate
with
with Bob
and
DiCarlo and
figure it
get in
out.
front of the ag, and then if the ag, if the ag's comfortable, then you can come talk to the planning board about the actual site design, and we'll get in all the nuts and bolts.
All right,
All right,
that sounds good. Thank you all for your
All
time.
right,
Thanks
you
for your
waiting.
patience.
Take care.
Thanks, Shauna.
Bye.
so that's going to ag. And that's going to egg.
Ag and ECB are gonna be busy this month.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. We only had one
You had
last month.
one.
I'm like-
That never
I'm like,
happens.
oh, there's only one. Now we're really gonna start rocking and rolling. So it's 30 and Cooley, that one, right?
Yeah, Cooley's to the east. Which one did I pull up? Yeah. Oops.
That's a little too far.
Yeah, did you see Cooley when I
I
pulled
was
it
trying
up?
to figure out, yeah, I saw it on there briefly somewhere. It was coming in next to it. It's that spot between Cooley and New Michigan on 30,
Yeah.
right? Okay. On the south side.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got?
This one, Adeline.
Okay.
Here's Cooley.
And what's the other one that it's big? What is that? Is that, what's the blue or the purple line over there on the?
The town line.
Oh, that's.
That's East Winfield. All right. Gotcha, so. Okay.
Okay, what do we got?
So,
Mr. Westford.
thank you. So I'd like to address Corey Westford first. So as the board knows, planning board, the zoning board for sure. And the PRC for sure. This project is now past a 1-year activity. It's unbelievable. Right? And so, and then I talked to Shauna last Thursday, I believe, late afternoon, I think it was Shauna.
Yeah, I called you Thursday.
Right, and you committed to a 7/26/22 hearing date. You said you would try to get, I don't want to say you committed.
Right, I didn't
You said that
commit, yeah.
it looked like it could be scheduled by then,
Right,
right? Because
but
there was nothing in the way. And then I get a call from Anthony half hour ago, 35 minutes ago. So I'd like to talk about that issue first and understand what you guys still need to see after being in the circuit for a year. Reviews.
I'm not leading the discussion. I think it should be staff as far
yep,
as the
we can.
issues.
So I hadn't looked at yours. And so when we got here, we pulled both applications and looked at them cumulatively, basically a more global look. And when we did that, we started to talk about public safety needs and the fact that going back to previous application for Sarah Linda Hooker, where we asked her to upgrade her driveway because of public safety concerns. That led us into further discussions about your driveway and public safety concerns and more global issues like that and what.
So we've already received letters from the Cheshire Chief, Chris Brown, for Corey's application. I've not asked one for Chris yet for our application. I'll remind you that in the application of the Westerly lands, I spent close to $50,000 to get an easement and to get a fire hydrant placed very close to my home and to Corey's home, up on the hill. So, you know, that's now an issue after that expenditure has been made by myself. And then the reality of Anna Linda Drive currently, the currently paved area. That, and I'm gonna go fight this a different way with the ordinance committee public hearing on July 18th. I have a
Next
this public
Monday.
hearing, I'm gonna speak to that at that time. So I'm gonna hold my stuff till then. I can tell you, I was on the phone with 3 people yesterday that are private drive people, not on Anna Linda, none were on Anna Linda. And they're ready to come with me also. So let's get ready for that one, folks. Because how many private drives are there in the in Canandaigua, Shauna?
Dozens,
I don't know,
We should know
A
that.
lot. I
a
agree.
lot,
We should
many,
know that.
dozens.
How many lots are attached to the private drive?
many.
Right. And we should know that they should all be notified of that event. Because it impacts them.
Yeah.
And I put that request into Doug Finch last week, late last week, Thursday or Friday. I don't know if she had a chance to get to you or not. But I think there's a outright stop of that action until there's proper notification. These are people that have spent their lives here, including myself. And to now have the rules changed, boy, oh boy, that's a big problem for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. And just because somebody feels it should be done, feelings don't impact me. What I can be impacted by as the law and the position taken by the town, but I'm not going to sit here and let laws be written or codified as it relates to changes. And we have met every need. I also remind you that every fire hydrant on Westlake Road is used to access Anna Linda Drive. That's along that run. So I don't understand that at all. And it's physically impossible to have whatever the turnaround is requirement is 60 by 40 or 60 by 100 or 40 by 100. I don't remember what it is. And it's just never going to be met. It's way-
120, it's big.
Yeah, it's never going to be met. And so let's deal with what's real versus what you want to do. If you want to do it in the future, that's fine. But if you start, I want to be careful here, but we need to be cautious of the existing landowners. They are going to be, I have another meeting at noon on Friday of this week with the other landowners. They are not happy about it, and you'll see us on Monday evening. I also have a thing to apologize for. I was just diagnosed with a 8 millimeter kidney stone on Friday.
Mm.
So I'm waiting for my surgeon to call me today. So it may not even, I don't think I'll get scheduled this week. I may get scheduled on Monday of next week. I probably won't be here. Maybe I need my drugs to come here. I don't know. I'm not really sure. It may help the situation.
Good drugs, get you.
Good drugs.
Good drugs, yeah.
So, it's kind of crazy. That's my view. And if you're gonna go that way, you have the right to do that, determine that. But I'm telling you,
And so I think, at least off the cuff, the Corey one, which I understand your position in terms of dates. I thought the main reason for the delay of going to August as opposed to July was that it needs to go to ECB. I thought that was the main.
yeah, but if that application's been around, it hasn't changed.
I'm just saying.
It
what we
hasn't
discussed this
changed.
morning.
So
I
how many
thought
months
that
do we
was
have to
the
wait
only-
for somebody not to get involved?
Sure. I don't know what the delay was between now and today's day. I don't know. I know there was a determination going on private drives. I'm not speaking for the town. I'm just simply saying today's discussion, that was my understanding, the main reason from July to August was to in fact allow it to go to ECB and then ultimately.
Well, also to
Well,
have
there's
a
an issue
meeting.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
there's another part
I
to
think
this, which was.
There was revelation that Chris Jensen brought up with the Sarah Linda project
Mhm.
of
Fire
a
code,
certain size driveway for
the
fire and
width,
safety reasons
dimensions.
and all that.
rollovers,
And we said, well,
turnouts.
geez, maybe it applies here. If it
Mhm.
applied there, Chris will probably, have it apply
I
here.
didn't want to.
So if that's the case, let's get it out front and get it resolved before
know the
we get too far into
Yeah,
it.
as you know, the process is always, I moved to the lake on Honolulu Drive, believe it or not, in 1988. That's where I became on the planning board in 1990
Mhm.
because of the constant issues
No.
that were there on Honolulu Drive.
See, Anna Linda brought you to.
And it brought us back to you again now, okay?
Well, those issues didn't go away yet.
The issue is
That's-
more personal.
That's my frustration.
Okay, I understand your frustration, Chuck. I really do.
Yeah.
I understand that. But, the job is to listen to all the citizens, which you can do.
Yeah.
And you do a great job at that, okay? The issue is what is in the law, right? And if it's not in law yet, there's not a requirement written somewhere that I can go find, okay? And it has never been brought forward to us yet, ever. We've always handled it by having the Cheshire Fire Department, in this case, review it and write a letter to the file about the status of what they see in that access to those properties. And I think I really stood strong on investing the money I did into the 6-inch water main, all underground drilling to preserve Riley's Run land. And, but, boy, oh boy, oh boy, this one is not always the way it looks. And just because there are a couple of disgruntled folks on Linda Drive, which we don't want to talk about, we can't talk about,
But they're there.
but you got to listen
They
to them.
exist, they're
But
residents.
you operate by
Yeah.
the law in the code,
I
right?
realize that.
Right, so sorry, guys, sorry. And there's no way that on Linda Drive can be built to town standards or state standards, whatever standards you're going after. It's physically impossible,
So I think what this morning, at least what the discussion was, keep the applications on the agenda. We're not pulling them.
Mhm.
But they're not on the agenda of the 26th anymore,
But
That one
Corey,
is not,
Corey
right.
was the one that it's my understanding that was tentatively
Yep.
scheduled. for
tentatively
that.
scheduled.
And then the reasons being pushed was to ECB and to potentially accommodate this meeting. Whether that changes, I'll leave that between you guys.
But my point here is that ECB has had access to that file forever. So now to come up, they have to have time to go look at it. Come on, guys. How long
You've pulled, I think. I'm
How long has
trying
that
to
file been in
remember.
place?
This has been pulled probably 3 times
3 or
by
4
the
times.
applicant.
Right.
While I've been here, and it's been a year that I've
Right.
been here.
Right.
So I wouldn't send this is a new application.
Mine is a new application, absolutely. Corey's is not.
Is new. It has a new number. It's new based on the deed being filed,
The lot line
the
adjustment.
lot line adjustment.
Right.
The deed, the lot line adjustment, and now the new plan, which would then procedurally go to ECB on the 4th.
Yeah, this new plan can go there all day long.
Right,
No problem at all. My
Right.
plan.
no, Corey's plan.
What results in Corey's plan going there? Because it's already been in the review process by ECB prior.
It's a new application.
No, it's not a new application. That could be a new number for my application for Corey.
Corey has a new number, you have a number. Yeah, Corey's got 49, you have 50, I believe. 'Cause this is a new Corey's is a new reconfiguration based on the lot line adjustment.
This was filed for. I'm not gonna go back to my calendar and figure it all out, but I promise you, this concept here was driven as a result of what I've heard about what's gonna happen with private drives. Mine, Greg and Beth Westbrook. Corey's was well before that. You may have changed your number and modification. I actually don't believe that's even appropriate because it did not change. It stayed the same. We made some clarity adjustments so people would understand that the deed read true to the survey.
Right, there was that discrepancy with the deed not being filed.
Right.
Right. So this is a new application,
Which is a new application.
Corey.
What makes it a new application?
I don't want to go into it now. If you want to come in my office, we can look through all my files. We could do that.
This has a date of 6/1.
Yeah, that's a 6/1 plan based on the lot line adjustment, which we're waiting to get the plans in just for signature.
Corey's file.
Corey's file.
You're looking at my application, are you not, Chuck?
That's Corey's. This is.
This is Corey's.
Okay,
Corey's,
it's Corey, okay.
We got
as
your
usual,
later.
Venezia didn't put any dates on it other than his signing of the plan from a survey standpoint. And that's 6/1.
Mhm.
This was approved by Tom Schwartz when he was chairperson of the planning board.
Not this plan.
Not this plan, no.
Oh, not the subdivision plan, I agree. with you.
Right,
I agree with you on that.
right.
We've done
Okay.
projects, I mean, the
Right.
lot at the end and
Yep.
different,
There's a zoning law determination.
and the other thing I asked Anthony would be helpful to me and the board would be like an overall, the two subdivisions, sort of looking at it from a big picture standpoint. Because then we get, because it's sort of piecemeal right now. It's sort of, you know, Corey's application, but how does that relate to your application? Admittedly, they're two separate lots, two separate applications. But we can see what's happening overall in terms of up on the hill there.
As you can see that today on two maps, unfortunately, it's not on one map. Is that what you're asking for, Chuck?
That's what I was asking for, yes.
Just to get it over-
And
overall.
Anthony thought he could put the two together without too much effort.
Not a detail.
At my expense, right?
He said it wouldn't take much.
That's an interesting term from Anthony.
I think he thought he would follow up with you before I was.
And we have.
Oh, yeah, no, it's, yeah, this application's filed June 1st, so.
Right.
Corey Westbrook, 3-lot subdivision.
Sure, it should have been this in the review on middle of June, which it was not because Shauna correctly pointed out that the deed was not properly done.
Right, so
We
we had
did,
to wait on
did that,
that.
and we got that to you by July 1st.
That was the lot line adjustment.
That's what,
That was the lot line adjustment.
that's correct.
Right,
And then the same day, the application for the, so this was applied for then on July 1, before July 1.
right, but this had never been to PRC, so we talked about it today and determined that it should go to ECB. And then it would be on the first meeting
In August, because it's a revision of a previous application. Normally, new applications go to the second meeting of every month.
If there's a
But in this
zoning,
case-
if there's a zoning board of appeals action.
Well, or if it has to go to the county planning board,
Right,
yeah,
right.
there's a couple
Couple of stuff, right,
triggers
right,
that
couple
sets that
steps.
off. But in this case, we felt since it is a revision of what you had previously submitted, even though it's separate, a new application, we could handle it at our first
At
meeting.
the first meeting in
August,
August.
Which is the 13th.
Because there are no variances.
There are no variances.
There's no variances.
And that in
But-
turn would allow for the ECB to look.
That would
at
give
it.
the ECB time to
ECB
look
time
at it
to
the
look
week
at it.
before.
And we find out from Chris where we stand in terms of.
Yeah, that would give us time to talk about the road if we have to have a meeting with you and we could
It
do
was,
that.
We had suggested that with Anthony, if we could possibly sit down with you, Corey, or whomever you thought was appropriate on your end, with Chris and the town, so that we can iron out this potential concern prior to it being in front of the board, in front of the public, in that situation. And try to iron out
So-
what,
Let's talk about those issues then. I can believe I can at least come up with two, there's possibly more, Chuck.
Mhm.
One of them is the fire protection, community safety, whatever the word.
Yeah, you said you have a letter from Chris Brown?
Yeah, he already, Corey has a letter from Chris Brown on file.
It could be in the email.
Could be in the
Yeah,
previous
absolutely.
application.
Yeah, could be in the.
Okay, we'll look for that.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
got
I
it.
interrupted
And I'm
you.
gonna seek mine now
Yeah.
from Chris Brown also.
Mhm.
And I'll provide that to you this week. Okay,
Okay,
and, and beyond that, I don't know what I'll talk about in my application.
well, I put my drainage advisory committee hat on.
That's fine. That's
Okay,
a good place to be.
because that's another method, way that I'm familiar with this property because of the drainage coming off the hill. And Kevin Mulvaney had also responded in that regard. So
Right.
we certainly want to make sure that we
you know
don't
that-
make the drainage any worse than it is.
That's fine.
Okay,
So
and
drainage
admittedly, it
is
is a subdivision. There's nothing being built there currently. But as we create more lots and more homes, it just adds to the impervious and it could.
I should have saved my email or text from Kevin Mulvaney.
A
When I,
recent one?
when I built my lot
Yeah,
on top of the hill, okay, my home on the top of the hill. He said it's the best drainage, environmental executed driveway he's ever seen in the town of Canandaigua. And that was 4 years ago. Okay, so I feel really strong. I can understand the debate around the south side of that parcel that I don't own, Corey owns, right?
Mhm.
I don't own it anymore. I don't know why I'm being attached in this process to Kevin Mulvaney, but I'll try to dig out from him the letter
Okay.
also, because it's muddying the waters, okay? Because I did a,
Excuse the pun.
excuse the pun, right? And,
Well,
you know,
I
we spent
don't excuse.
Please
I'm
don't.
not gonna
muddy
get
the
into
water.
what was spent, but there was a lot of money spent to make sure that we handled everything coming off the hill. And I went to great extremes to do that.
Okay.
To understand, having been a planning board member, having been the ex-town supervisor, having been this and that, there's just a feeling that you carry with you the rest of your life. You want to be as good as you can be in the environment you're operating in, and that's a principle I deploy, okay? So I'm kind of curious that there's an interest to combine them. I understand the overarching picture. I get that because some water does flow sideways sometimes, not always right downhill, right? But, and I'd be willing to have that conversation with you guys, but I'm not changing. I can only speak for myself here. I'm not changing a darn thing here from what I presented. And I believe I'm completely legally right to apply for the subdivision, and any delay in such will cause other problems.
Appreciate your feeling. Okay,
Okay. So I didn't hear anything about other people being invited
Well, you got
invited
the-
to.
from the public
to,
No, I just
to
wanted to-
Lord.
to criticize the
Oh, no.
application by Corey.
I think the thought process was due to
An
the
internal
fire
meeting.
code and some drainage concerns that we thought it might make sense to have a meeting before the board
Right.
meetings with your side and with the town side so that we can kind of iron out some of the thoughts.
Answer all
know,
those
Hear you,
questions.
so that we make sure we have everything that you're providing,
Right.
and then have the town who ultimately, we need Chris's opinion on the project as well. We thought Doug, we thought us, and obviously
Yeah.
anything you can provide from the fire departments only helps. So
Right, right.
we thought it would make sense to have this dialogue prior to the public forum.
So I heard,
And try to
I
iron.
heard a
it out.
couple things, drainage from Chuck. Time and
Yes.
time again, I've heard, and you're right about it, okay, so I'm not, fire suppression or protection, okay?
Right, because fire code is more than just.
I understand it's more than
Right,
just
right,
a hydrant size, and I get
Right,
it,
right,
it's got a lot more depth. But I've always maybe incorrectly assumed that when anybody has a project and they go above and beyond and deliver a fire hydrant to the parcel,
Which could help, right? You're providing suppression ability. I 100% agree with you there.
right, and so it doesn't make sense to me, okay? I think the drainage conversation is a more worthwhile conversation, is my belief, and I think the drawings will show that he is. Also, Corey has, and private session, I appreciate the private session.
I
So,
think it was more just finding a safe way to get trucks in and out of there as opposed to, necessarily,
Right.
if they have water to put out.
Where we
fire.
could turn
I
around.
wanted to have,
pull
I
off.
wanted to have the town code stands on what they were going to ask and require, as opposed to getting an email that we have to read out in a public forum, and then that just delays it.
That much.
Yeah, but I'm
much
telling
longer.
you,
We can
I'm
do
telling
it
you,
now and iron it out.
if the town chooses to go aggressive for what I'll call enforcement, probably wrong word, of somebody's thoughts, because I haven't seen anything
We haven't
specifically, I've never seen it in the town of Canandaigua review process. Now it's all of a sudden it's being thrown at me. I've never seen the fire review as part of the process. The chief always writes the explanation of whether it's a problem or not. Now we're changing that process. And when you change a process without knowledge, I'm not saying my knowledge, right? That becomes a problem as a citizen.
I think this came before.
This is not-
came before with Sarah Linda.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a,
Well, it's been a.
It's
been
New York
on other
State
projects,
code.
but
it's been other
I
projects,
think
but
this,
Right.
the last couple
From
of them,
Chris.
private drive, major minor subdivision, which is a new terminology, but
Mhm.
that idea, and then fire code, which is, let's be honest, Chris has called it out in a number of projects over the years.
Yeah.
So I just, you're right, I haven't heard it as much or as often as I have in the last couple of
It's been
months
very recent.
with the type
with
of
me,
projects that we
yeah.
have, but I think I could argue that they're different than some of the other ones that I've seen longer term. Now, whether or not the rules have changed or what, I don't know. I just know from a board's perspective, from our perspective, when we're at the meeting and we have a letter
It
that
helps.
says this is what, I'd rather iron out beforehand.
Right, get it
That
out
way
there.
it's not being
Yeah.
read into the public.
And I've seen Kevin Zolvani's note on Corey's property already, so I know that's published.
yeah, that was.
We've got it a couple years
Couple
ago.
old, yeah.
And I know certain like driveways that come off of a town road, they have to have a pullover. at
Yes,
least for-
750,
Yeah.
750 feet.
500.
500 feet.
500.
Anything over 500 feet
500.
technically need a
Pullover.
pullover and a turnaround. And then we also get into length of a cul-de-sac, we get into length of a roadway, we get into number of lots off of that end road. Those are all things that have to be at least looked at and understood. I don't know how many lots ultimately this has at the end of the day.
But somebody's been floating numbers out there about anything more than 3 lots, not in an application, but
Right.
existing prior.
Right.
And then if you expand that private drive to have additional subdivision or additional structures built, you know, you live on a whole different list of criteria. And that's what I think this July
That's
18th
the new
meeting is
Yeah,
about.
that's-
subdivision
right,
law.
right.
And that's what's gonna, I assume that's available on the website somewhere.
It is,
Draft, right?
the draft, what's today, Monday? We
Yeah.
had to have everything.
Draft
in.
is by
The draft
Wednesday.
is- Yeah,
Usually,
but we have the draft.
you
The
have,
discussions in the ordinance minutes too.
Because the public hearing was set last month.
it had to be set last month, so it could be heard this month, right?
Yeah,
So if you would please
you
send
want me
to
to
me
send that to you?
that ordinance change.
And those, you're still in compliance, even if it does change, because you've got 2 different owners, 2 different projects,
Right.
and
Mhm.
less than 4 the
Correct.
lots on each
Correct.
one. So-
Right. I'm more concerned about, I'm not concerned about myself as I am as much about the people I've been talking to. And they just can't believe it.
It's a significant change.
It's a huge change in the town not to notify. When I put up a 12 by 12 shed on Island Drive, it's a big deal, okay? So, and all the neighbors are notified. And beyond my neighbors, they're notified, okay? And so, but, you know, this one is, and I want to offer, and I'll tell this directly to Doug, and I met with Jared on Friday. I'll talk to him again this week. I'll talk to Terry. I'll talk to you privately for a second here at the end. But the way that's being done, I understand the beliefs are different of what they want to control to not develop properties that are riskier to develop. Put it that way, okay? And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that that's what they're trying to change. And when that gets out, you know, it's gonna be an interesting winter, following winter.
One other question, if I may, Greg.
Yeah.
Your right of access and to Analinda, is that in your deed?
Yeah, what every house, if you divide that 30-foot right of way
Yeah.
in half, there's a center line established on Linda Drive.
Mhm.
Your property line goes to that center line. Okay,
Okay.
so we have,
No right of ways.
Well, no, there is a right of way, but we get 15 feet of the right of way. It's,
Right.
we
Very
own 15 feet of the
clear.
right of way. And the other party on the other side of the road owns 15 feet of that right of way.
Okay. So any subdivision within that frontage.
Right.
Has to get rewritten
Would go
into-
with it, I guess.
Right,
But
right,
then it gets into, the mechanism and the mechanics. of
right. And, you
How
know,
it's maintained.
right, and
And that's the problem that we've been running into. And I think that's one of the reasons sort of generated this thing about the private drives is tightening down who and how roads are maintained, because people come to us and they say, I have no idea. Well, I know there's a road out in
Yeah.
front of my house.
They
and
don't
Somebody
plow
comes
it.
through and plows it every once in a while. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. If we gotta
but
fill.
defending you, Chuck, in a statement, that is their responsibility as homeowners. You don't owe them anything. They know their property line is in the
Yeah,
middle of
but
that
You've got
road.
people who live at the other end on Linda driving down your 15 feet.
Right, they can go all the way through.
So they gotta have some sort of right to do that.
There's a rite of passage, I'm sure. Okay,
You're sure, okay.
I'm sure,
Yeah.
I am sure. Okay, but
Nice to see.
I would not continue to listen to folks that are misleading in their attempt. It's become very personal. You I'll make this officially a record. We've had that gentleman arrested for activities. Okay, and I'm not going to tolerate anybody impacting myself or my family or my extended family.
Well, I think, Greg, that's kind of the point of the changes that are proposed to the ordinance committee.
Yeah, but the changes, people don't understand
I
the
think-
impact of the
I
ordinances.
know, but I think the whole point is going forward, we can't fix what happened in the past.
No,
But the point is going forward, having less of these private instances where you have neighborhood issues together. And more of a just public open road with normal right of ways and reducing the amount of impacts on people like you and your neighbor. Because your main touch point is things like Anna Linda. I mean, that's one of the main causes of frustration.
So I don't understand how
Design
government can
operations.
help you.
Well, it's meant to, in your situation, it's pre-existing,
Right?
but for the future.
No,
if
but
we
they're
make
saying if
less
I
of them
come in,
happen,
I come in
so-
5 years from now and try to subdivide another parcel, just one more parcel,
Yeah.
okay? They gotta construct that road to state standards, whatever standards are, they're going to. That's still insanity.
Yeah.
If you want to give me a lifetime, give everybody lifetimes of what you have is what you have, and you can do what you want to do with your land. That land didn't come cheap either.
Yeah.
Right? I purchased over 20 years. I used my parents' inheritance
Mhm,
when they passed to buy that land.
mhm.
So it's personal for me again.
Yeah.
Don't take away things that are personal to people. And the rights to develop. I paid for the land.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for staying over, guys. I
Your
appreciate
health
it.
issue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, look at that. Sorry about that.
All right, are we done?